Alright, bitches. Molecular here with another one of his videos that he doesn't hardly ever post anymore. Here, let me clean this lens for y'all so y'all can see a little bit better. Today we got our 2008 Toyota Yaris. Initial complaint was ignition key would not turn in the lock, or in the ignition lock cylinder. So, this video will be up on YouTube there, so I'll probably just put the first 1 minute on Instagram. Anyway, so key kept falling out previously for the owner while driving, and the lock just was stuck in the lock position. So I basically had to tear it apart, find out what's going on. I had found out what's going on here. Let me close the door so you get less ambient noise. Start number one. You got to get access to this Jesus thing to get the lock cylinder out. It's not really that bad. Back here on, let's see here, where the hell was it? There, on this back side back here is where your pinhole is for this. You got to push that in. Now, in other YouTube videos and information I found on the internet, I got wrong information saying it needed to be into the on position. That is not true. You do it in the accessory position. That releases this pin to push in and work it out. And it kept on wanting to get caught up about maybe 1/8 of an inch out. And I just kept working. Eventually it just slipped right out. But it was a fucking motherfucker. It did not want to come out for me. To get to that point, this is assuming you're already to this point. If you're not to this point, I will do a brief summary. You need to, number one, take out your airbag assembly. This was a couple of big old T something screws are in here some part. Oh no, they're captures. They're captured in the steering wheel. Here's your bolts right here. They're captured in a little plastic cage so that they don't get lost. So that makes it actually pretty nice. Take those two out. The next thing you're going to run into is you're going to want to mark your steering wheel orientation to where you're at. See, there's marks going on there. Silver marks all the way up for your orientation, so you get your steering wheel back on place, because it's a splined motherfucker. This is marked, don't worry about that part. Anyway, to get the airbag off, actually hanging out, you will be like, oh, how the hell do I get these? Okay, see these little yellow pieces in the on your plugs? You're gonna pop them up like that before you can unplug them from your airbag. That's how you release your airbag. It will then, you unplug both of those, and then also both of these, presuming you have, you want your horn to work again and all that good jazz. Set your airbag aside. Now you're going to attack the 19 millimeter nut on the center. I believe it's 19. I did it with a very lightweight impact gun, and it zipped right off, no problem. M8 125 bolt holes for your puller. Pull your steering column, or your steering wheel right out of there. Comes right off. It actually came out pretty freaking easy on this. Then you will have access to the 3 screw fasteners on here on your lower cover. With the steering wheel in place, it blocks these. I might have been able to rotate it, but being as I was stuck initially with a stuck key in here, I couldn't rotate the wheel. You might be able to avoid doing all of this if you can get your thing to turn and unlock the steering wheel and actually spin it. Sometimes you can get, just get enough clearance. Oh, look, you can get your screw. I couldn't get mine because the steering wheel was locked. I was afraid at that point in time of taking taking pliers and just twisting the key and breaking the key off in the ignition. I didn't want to do that, so I just took it apart the right way. There's two black screws right here and a third one down in there. These are going to be plain old flipsies. Flippers. So there's 3 fasteners there. At that point in time, this whole thing pretty much just pop, pop, pop comes apart. and Bob's your uncle. At this point, I wanted to verify of what else was going on, so I removed the actual ignition switch itself. Marked it for orientation just because with a red pen, and used a screwdriver, started the car multiple times. This car does not have a key sense, which means you don't need a key in the car at all to start the Jesus thing. Other cars may have some form of anti-theft device. This is a base model Yaris. It did not have that. At that point in time, I used a small pin on here and eventually worked it out. I did waste a lot of time with this thing in the freaking on position instead of accessory like I'd read on the internet you were supposed to do. That is not right, at least in my application. I apply that also to this new one because it also is the exact same way. You're able to get these for pretty cheap on the internet. My problem was most of them, 99% of them, all had the transponder buttons built into it, and his car did not have that. So that's where I ran it. Now this actually fits all kinds of Tundras and not Pathfinders, but a whole bunch of other Toyota Corollas and bullshit. So there you go. Pull this thing out, slip the new one in, and you're good to go. Hope somebody learned something from this fucking video. I don't know. Maybe you learned how to fucking cuss. Don't care. Peace out, bitches. Malachi is going to go try and fix this car in the next couple minutes.